Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to Vencabot. Batman Arkham Asylum action. My name is David. Guys, here we are again playing Arkham Asylum. What? How? Why? We already beat the game once. We beat it 100%. We got everything in it. We were going to start Arkham City, right? Wrong! Not yet. Be patient, guys. Because I happened to find out while installing Arkham City, I installed the game, that I was really close to getting all the achievements in Batman Arkham Asylum on Steam. And this is the first game that I ever got Platinum on PS3. I really had never cared about achievements in my life before this game came out, and I loved it so much. And I realized that, achievements are a really fun way to get more out of a game that you already love. I find them to be kind of silly to, hunt for achievements for their own reward of having them. That's, teach their own, of course, but that doesn't really work for me. But as a way to get more out of a game that I want to play more of, it's kind of cool. In this case, we're missing very few. We're all missing only 4 here. There's a bunch of story ones and, free flow challenge ones. We are having to just kind of knock out as we went. But we need 4 more here. This should be pretty easy. Rope-a-dope-a-dope is string up one henchman and drop him to surprise a second, any play mode. That should be pretty easy. That means throw a batarang to drop him. Mano-a-mano, defeat Titan henchmen without using batarangs. Why is it mano-a-mano, not mano-e-mano? So basically I had to punch a Titan henchman to death without using any batarangs to slow him down. It's going to be kind of tough, but I can probably find a way to do that pretty easily. Catch is catch a batarang. That means throw the remote batarang and then bring it back to yourself. That shouldn't be too tough. And invisible predator. Complete one predator challenge by using only silent takedowns and without being detected. That sounds piss easy. So it should be pretty quick, guys. Let's knock these out. What's up, apples? Welcome aboard. Wrong! All right, let me do a couple things first here. First, I need to raise my resolution. We've been playing this game in 4K. You guys don't care. It's all, 1080p to you guys at best. If you're on Twitch, it's 720. But I've been downscaling it, basically. We're talking about emulation before the stream here. And something interesting about emulation is also downsampling. Me and Katie talked about this kind of recently, about the importance of, when possible, when you can run a game well at full speed, raise resolution beyond your actual monitor's resolution. Even if you can't, display 4K, play the game in 4K, because it has this inherent property of anti-aliasing your games without making them any blurrier. And, before we had downsampling as we know it now, before it was widespread, that seemed like an oxymoron to make a game, anti-alias without blurring it, right? They're sort of one and the same. The idea of smoothing out the jaggies in your games without making anything else blurry. How do you do that? In this case, you do it by, let me see if I can get this off the screen. With downsampling, you do it by rendering your game at a high internal resolution so that the individual pixels representing edges are smaller. And then you squish that down to a low resolution, and that will cause those pixelated edges to then be blurred by the algorithm used for downsampling it. Something like cubic or linear, bilinear. Basically, the idea is that when you scale anything, you sort of have to kind of compress the graphics. But in this case, because you're only compressing them to your native resolution, you are not losing any detail that you wouldn't have, lost in the first place, right? You're seeing, at least as much detail as you would have seen if it were at your default res, but you have made it less jaggy. So it's kind of interesting that way. So Brian thought sampling was when you ripped a few seconds of a song to make a beat. Yeah, that's definitely that too. And also there's downsampling as well in music. You could argue that, when you sample a beat at a lower bit rate, you're downsampling it. But it's kind of, ironically, that's kind of similar to the way that we're talking about graphics in this case. Anyway, so let's knock out some of these challenges. So we had to do rope-a-dope, string a guy up and knock him down. We can kind of combine that one probably with the stealth takedown one, right? I take out all of them out with silent kills. Then there was mano to take down a Titan guy. Let's do that one first. The Titan one with just punches. Then the fourth one I already forgot. Let's go to challenge mode. And do whatever the first challenge is it has. Is the Rumble in the Jungle? Has the Titan. So my goal here is to take out everyone except for the Titan, leave him for last, and then just punch him a whole bunch.
It's a big fight. Who will win? The Heart Killers? The murderers?
Oh my god, this game is so much fun. The game feel is so on point.
You want some of this?
Oh man. Yeah, thank you, Brian. Yeah, throw a battery and catch it. Right. We should be able to do 3 of those in one mission, one stealth mission.
For me.
Is this already a Titan soldier?
What do I get?
No. Oh no, they're over there.
What happened?
Get the combo back.
This'll hurt him.
Okay, I gotta throw somebody down, I think. Throw him. I gotta get a ground takedown. Oh my god, this image is so good. What's up, Katie? Wow! That's great.
Come on, boys. He's just one man.
How's it I been, dude?
One man dressed like a lunatic and armed to the teeth. Go
Oh,
get him!
oh no. Yeah. Oh no, I want to take him out. So in future games, when you do a takedown like that, it prioritizes guys that have weapons, which is nice. Yeet! Oh, come on, that didn't count. You finished it? Let's fucking go, Katie. I'm finally done.
Note to self.
Congratulations, man. That's no small amount of work, I'm sure. So, do you have it published on YouTube yet? You're waiting to publish it until tomorrow. Here we go. I gotta throw no batterings at him. I gotta kill these guys without battering him. And not worry about my combo. Just worry about my life.
Is he okay?
It's gonna be hard to kill these guys without getting a high combo. The higher your combo is, the more damage you can do. It's alright. This guy's going fucking ham. He doesn't want to like attack me normally? Wow, that was great. So there's not a lot of guys left. Now he's by himself. We're gonna punch him to death. It's good, fuckers. Oh, fuck. I got a lot of health. Oh, God. The roll's not invincible like in Dark Souls. Oh, God. This is gonna take fucking forever. But it's for Chivo. Precious Chivos. Oh my god! Okay, look at that! It's a mechanic when he's the last guy left, you just knock him the fuck out. That's great. I went to Batman Souls like that. That could be really fun.
I've got much bigger.
It's already up, says Brian. That's what says Katie. Check it out, guys. That's youtube.com/KD Alpha. No underscore. It's KDalpha. These incorporate a shot of Dudley throwing a rose onto the bed of roses, with Mina Zuvari from American Beauty for whatever. Says I didn't. That'd be a great idea, though. Something that'd be godlike, dude. I considered using a clip from Kill Bill 2, where Pai Mei has Beatrix punching the wooden board. It was already 9 minutes long. Thanks for the link, Katie. Speaking of Souls, like I picked up Blasphemous on Steam, and that game is gorgeous. What the hell's Blasphemous, Mac? Okay, so that should be that Chivo. Now we can do the rest of them in just one stealth mission. Let's do the easiest one. This one. That's the easiest one. That's kind of an annoying one. This is the easiest one. I remember when the game first came out, having trouble with
Joker wants him stopped. I'm gonna do it.
Oh shit, what am I doing? Like there's no one here? I'm just walking around like a dumbass. Having trouble with this challenge. Like spooking a guy by dropping something on his head? Does he have to be nervous first or not? Probably not.
Listen, there's nothing to worry about. Batman is on
Blasphemous is like a 2D Souls-like. More like Symphony of the Night, but with Dark Souls mechanics. Like what? What qualifies as a Dark Souls mechanic?
Crazy.
Like Estes?
Why did I ever get involved?
So absolutely spoiled her name, huh? I had never seen Kill Bill, guys. Is the whole movie spoiled for me now that I know someone's named Beatrix? Like Estes. Okay, so I gotta throw a battering and catch it. I probably do that from here.
A chance, not a chance.
Not this one. Got him. That's one. So now I gotta take them all down with silent takedowns. Oh, but it means I can't use the I can't use the hanging takedown. That's fine. We'll have to do it at a separate time.
Get him. Oh, did I not mention he's probably on his way?
So this one's gonna be a really easy stage for silent takedowns. Let's do that one first then, and we'll do the next stage with we'll get the drop down one on the next stage. This stage I think it's gonna be pretty trivial to get them all silently. It's got all these high pathways that no one like patrols, or not collectively. They patrol them individually.
Stop.
Boom! Another one bites the dust.
Another one bites the dust. So this mode, this is the easy mode of this map, or I should say the normal mode. And that means you have these gargoyles, it makes it pretty easy. The game's a lot more interesting when there's no gargoyle. What do you guys think about that, mechanically? I remember when this game first came out, I thought the gargoyles were pretty broken. But I think that I appreciated the game design more in general once I came to respect that it's not meant to be Metal Gear Solid. It's not Metal Gear Solid. It's its own thing. I think that having the gargoyles gives you that Predator aspect. Yeah, because Batman's, you're supposed to feel strong, right? You're not supposed to feel disadvantaged as Batman, right? So I feel like, you know, being able to watch from above, being able to move around the stage quickly, it gives you sort of like an aggressive take on stealth gameplay. But that being said, I do think that it takes away the difficulty in a big, big way. Yeah, Mac agrees that gargoyles are always busted. I think the game is more interesting when you don't have these gargoyles. In fact, I wish they'd remove them and re-examine ways to make me feel like Batman. Right? Like, I'm Batman. I could be, you know, crawling through vents more. I could be hanging from, you know, ledges more. There are ways that I can still feel like I could traverse the stage freely and you know, have an advantage over these thugs without having to literally have these platforms from which I can look down on them and teleport around the stage.
All night, and I am not happy. You're failing all your performance targets, and I don't think you'll survive the night.
It's gonna get me. No, he isn't. Why agree to this?
Okay, he's gonna turn around in a minute here. They get balanced in future games by them being in shittier, less patrolled areas. Yeah, you're right, Mac. You're right. It's interesting to point out. Right? It seems like it's one of those things maybe that they actually did take very seriously, which is why I love this entire series, right? Rocksteady took these games so seriously.
Did you even notice?
They took these games so seriously. And you can tell they tried to balance them. They knew in this game that there was something wrong with the gargoyles, because on hard... Oh, fuck. That's close. One of the counts as me being seen. On hard mode, they blow up when you touch them, which is kind of whack. I mean, on the one hand, it makes it more fun for me personally, because you can actually, you know, walk on the ground and sneak around more that way, and you're in more peril. But it's kind of a whack way to balance them, because you really can't use them at all that way. Like, they're not... It'd be more interesting if, like, you could only stand on them once each. Like, once you leave it, it explodes. Then you can still use them, but you have to use them kind of in a limited capacity. So he's the last guy, right? Yes. So I wonder if I got the Achievo. It's a very quality series, you're right. Because the jump in each game is really logical and pretty balanced. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Low quality, that is, says Dix. What's up, Tone Box? Oh, Dix. Never change. So I hate agreeing with you so much. Damn, what? Tone Box, what are you saying, dude? You're not a huge fan of the Batman series? Okay, so, before I even move on, I want to check. Can I shift tab? What is it on, how do you get the fucking thing to appear? I don't know, who cares? I give up. Let's just back out of this, quit the game, and see if I got the Chivo. It's gonna be kind of hard to tell with this 4K resolution. Can't see shit. I got Catch Today, I got Mano y Mano. Perfect Night. That's one I just... No, I guess maybe I got Saw, huh? I'm missing how many achievements? Let me see here. View my achievements. It's so dinky. So I fucked up Invisible Predator. I got seen. Some guy turned around and saw me. That was funny. Anyway. By funny, I mean fucking annoying. But it's only my fault. I can only blame myself there. He literally laid eyes on me as I took him. It was still silent. He didn't get to scream. But he literally put eyes on me as I choked him out. I like watching these games. I don't much care for playing them, though. The combat is pretty satisfying when you first try it. It's really not the same feel as like a character action game. I think the combat got better throughout the series as they realized that. It's very rhythmic. It's a whole different sort of mechanic, the combat. And I agree that the stealth could be better in many cases. But I think that together, for one thing, I love the combat. I love the combat. Let me be clear about that. I love the combat. I play this game immensely, at length, trying to get high scores on the battle challenge maps. Challenge mode, yeah. So now I need to do a couple things. Let's just go to this stage then, I guess. Take them all down with silent takedowns. Then you realize it's the same thing for the next 30 hours, huh?
Still got the moves, bats.
I think that's not super fair to say. It's true. Honestly, it's true. But that's true of, I think, pretty much any video game, right? You know, the game's got varied environments. All kinds of fun gadgets to play with. Yeah, it doesn't change the gameplay significantly, for the most part. But it keeps it fresh. They need to keep it fresh, right? I would say it succeeds at that as much as any game does.
One of my many representatives guarding you from the evil Batman.
Joker says he wants the doctors rounded up.
Whee. The combat isn't conventionally satisfying, but figuring out the most time-efficient way to kill everyone is fun. Yeah, I love going for high scores, which is, kind of like Devil May Cry. You have to keep mixing it up. Yeah, mix up your moves. It's just fun. It's a fun consideration to have.
I want the entire medical...
You guys also know me. I love time trialing anything.
Do you understand?
I flew right over his noodle. So I can't be seen at all. Whee.
You guys may want to have a look on
The Bride, huh? The name of the Bride.
Someone left you a gift.
If I were to rebalance Batman, I would make the combat more like how Ghost of Tsushima is shaping up to be, where you have to have extremely limited stamina, and if you run out, you're useless. So you have to play smart. I don't know.
Man down! Over here!
To me, I'm sure that in your perspective, you understand it better than I do for the way you described it, but it seems like that wouldn't really fit this game. Like, it'd be, I'm not sure that's so much a rebalancing, so it'd be like a whole different kind of combat system, right? How would this game's mechanics work with stamina? Limited button presses
Spread out and fight that back!
per encounter?
Wait up! I'll watch your back!
One thing you could do is give him ammo. You can give him ammo for like his batarangs and his claw and his things like that. That would make you have to choose when to use them. That'd be kind of cool.
Stop that, or I'll fix your blood pressure.
It kind of has that aspect to it, with the way that
This hospital scares the crap out of me.
it kind of has that aspect with the way that the game deals with the instant takedowns. They're a very powerful tool, but you have a limited number of them. You have to kind of decide when you use them and on who.
Hospital's supposed to be clean.
But it's not super significant because you get them back so fast. One thing they gotta do is remove the critical hit system in this game to make it more interesting. The critical hit system is meant to make it more rhythmic.
Check the time sheets. I'm sure
You know, make it more rhythmic and reward players for finding that rhythm. But the problem with it is that the game's already rhythmic, right? That it's sort of it's redundant. The game is rhythmic. If you're playing it rhythmically, you're succeeding more, and the reward should be the success, right? Like if you are not playing rhythmically, you're fucking up. I want to get this guy, but he's kind of in an awkward. Oh fuck! I almost got seen by that guy. I didn't know he was there.
Batman, can you hear me?
Oh no. That's not a great stage for the silent takedowns. Just play a puzzle game at that point. Get this ball in with X actions. It is sort of a puzzle game, right? Same with Devil May Cry. At a
We got the whole medical.
at a low level, a game like Devil May Cry, it really is just, you know, it's fun to mash buttons and get sick looking combos and kill a bunch of guys.
Don't worry, boy.
How am I gonna take him down with stealth?
That actually makes it as hard
Oh, I know what I would have to do.
Well, you may, but smile.
I would need to come around that corner real quick.
Man, I wish you'd shut up sometimes.
Get
Hear
him.
me?
Let's see here. Batman should be a puzzle game, says Matt. It should be a puzzle game. Based on how many people like the series, I don't know if anybody would agree. Devil May Cry is definitely not a puzzle game, says Brian.
Someone's left you a gift.
Once you're going for high scores in Devil May Cry and Bayonetta, those two games especially, that's kind of a similar system. It feels to me a lot like playing a game like Kirby Star Stacker. It's a very fast-paced. You have to keep your. It's like Tetris. You know, things are coming down and coming at you fast, and you have to keep track of a lot of variables, especially keeping count of what order you used what combos in, or what moves in. You have to try to use all your moves equally, and so you have to kind of, as you're fighting guys, you have to keep track of when you used what move and in what order, and then, you know, try to manipulate that to get the highest score possible. At a high level, again, the abstraction changes, which is why, you know, it's a strength of those respective series. The fact that it can be enjoyed at different levels and in different ways. And again, the more you play and the more you go for high score, the more your perspective changes on what your actual objective is. At first, it's to survive. Then it's to be flashy. And then there's this whole other aspect to it where you're trying to... It becomes about management. I still wouldn't describe it as a puzzle game. There may be some strategy involved, sure, but it doesn't feel like a puzzle. Well, do you think that Tetris is a puzzle game? Or is it a strategy game? And if so, why?
Aging Dr. Bat, aging Dr. Bat.
It's like spending wall bounce and OTG in Marvel or Skullgirls, huh? Here goes this is a fucking fighting game.
What kind of psycho built this place? Don't look like no hospital.
Yeah, strategy. Both the terms strategy and puzzle are both, you know, very broad, of course. It's very pedantic, Dix, but I think it's important too. I used to be a music student, and used to talk to other people a lot about genre names and their significance. I think it's important that we be able to understand why games are referred to a certain way, and think about how that means how they relate to each other.
Wait to get out of here. This hospital's crap.
Yeah, it's pedantic, and not only that, but again, genres are abstractions.
Now, you guys may want to have a look on the walkways. I think someone's left you a gift.
Well, every game has strategy in it. You guys would agree with that, right? And we're talking, of course, you have to separate the term strategy from the genre strategy. Right. Every game, ideally, should have some element of strategy involved. Some amount of strategizing. They're just keywords to get meaning across, yeah. Is Final Fantasy VI a puzzle game? No. It's a turn-based strategy game. And again, it's not because it has strategy involved, it's because of the grid-based mechanic that is used in other games with that same genre qualifier. Right? Like, moving your pieces, taking the turns, consuming, you know, your action points, whatever. That's what makes it a strategy game. In this case, again, a turn-based, you know, a tile-based strategy game, they're sometimes called.
I'll watch your back.
So it's RPG artists, which are puzzle games. Yeah, in strategy games, you oftentimes have a large number of units to control and manage. I think you guys would agree that's what makes the game a strategy game. You have like a small army or a team of guys you got to manage. Often with some resource management.
Boys, but I think
I'd say Devil May Cry is not a puzzle game, even if you have to put it through into getting put thought into getting S grades. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to give the impression that I thought that calling it a puzzle game wouldn't be a stretch. I don't want to give that impression. I would not call it a puzzle game. I'm not going to go out and tell people that Devil May Cry is a puzzle game. But I'm saying that your concerns change as you play it. And I think that, again, it's not what it first appears insofar as it being a game all about combat, right? The abstraction of, you know, lowering your opponent's HP to 0, that becomes not a concern really at all. Would you guys agree with that? There comes a point in Devil May Cry and Bayonetta where their health is really, not only is it like a non-issue in terms of like wanting to kill them, but in many cases it becomes an issue of not wanting to kill them. Right? You want to keep them alive so you can do more stuff to them. And in that way, my point is that it's not really what it seems. It's not a game about fighting and killing monsters. I'm on the wrong end of this argument, Venka. I can't co-sign that. I think there are games about killing monsters, and Devil May Cry is not one of them at a certain level of play. That's true of Bayonetta as well. I think that it's more akin to a puzzle game in that respect. When I'm playing Devil May Cry, the way my brain is processing things is much more akin again to like that Kirby Star Stacker we played, where there are tiles falling down very rapidly, and I'm trying to keep up with all these different patterns very rapidly and trying to line things up a certain way. Even before Souls game, yeah. What kind of game is Bloodborne, for example? We talk about Bloodborne a lot in this channel. It's obviously a horror game, but a bunch of people would disagree. It's an ARPG. That's Cool Hand. This is how we talk about it, Cool Hand. That's the context we talk about it in. In the context of, is it an ARPG? And a lot of times I argue that it's not. That's been my my stance. Is that, you know, it's almost, I mean, it is. It literally is. You compare Devil May Cry to a puzzle game because at a high level you have to be strategic. Yet you kind of categorically say FFT isn't like a puzzle game. I'd say it's less of a stretch to compare FFT to a puzzle game under those definitions. have to be strategic. My point is you have to be. It's not about being strategic. It's about, again, it's about pattern recognition, pattern memorization, and having to manage these patterns at a very fast pace. To me, that's what makes it a quote unquote, that makes it more similar to a puzzle game, right? Is the fact that the game boils down in a very abstract way to being about the order, the exact order that you do things in, and managing that against a very fast-paced,
I don't want to worry you, boys.
time limit, essentially.
I think he may be in there with you.
That's what it reminds me of a game like Tetris or something like that. Whereas I think that, you know, the turn-based strategy genre, for one thing, it was practically defined by tactics. See Minesweeper, for example. That's true. And I definitely call Minesweeper a puzzle game. There would be no better term for that.
You want to have a look on the walkways. I think someone left you a gift. You heard, Joker.
Minesweeper is a character action game, says Mac. The slowest paced character action game. And the character is the smiley face. Dick says, Steve Bancoolahan, he's being uppity in my chat. Dix, one day you're gonna be sorry. You're gonna get your own sword. You're gonna really be sorry. Well, but everyone I know says you have to sweep fast because it times you. That's true. That's true. There's an element of that game, but I wouldn't say that's not what makes it a puzzle game. It's only slow paced if you're good, dog.
Go easy on him.
So this guy's gonna be kind of hard to think about. Ironically, normally they're really easy to kill when they're paranoid. But because he's constantly turning around and I'm above him, for one thing, I gotta not be above him, right? I gotta be somewhere where I can dash out at him. That's what I learned last time.
I don't like this.
I gotta be somewhere where I can kind of jump out at him. When you're gliding down, it's just too damn slow. This could be the situation right here, in fact. Oh no. This is ironically harder than I expected it to be.
Hide in the shadows, Bat. We're coming for you.
On the subject of Devil May Cry being or not being a puzzle game,
We did it. No drop.
if I'm going to make one point, I want it to be that it'd be interesting to see a game about killing monsters where you are graded in your effectiveness at killing monsters.
Arkham Island.
You almost never see
Just
that.
one part of my new empire.
For some reason, I guess because they're kind of anime styled,
One of my many
and of course they're both by the same director, Devil May Cry and Bayonetta.
Batman.
Of course, they have this mechanic where, and also, this whole conversation started because Batman's similar, right? The Batman fighting mechanic is similar, where you're graded based on your variety of moves you use, which is totally contra to the themes of the game, right? Like, I shouldn't be graded based on how many gadgets I use. That's not very Batman-esque. I mean, it's fun. Don't get me wrong, it's fun. But it's a bizarre abstraction to have in a game like this. What's up, Hubie? Why not instead grade me on my effectiveness, right? In terms of, like, in this case, it'd be my time, right? It'd be my time. That's how effective you are.
Shut up and keep looking.
Or, like, you know, how terrified you make the enemies. In the case of, like, a Batman theme, maybe you could, like, you know, leave one thug alive and have him tell the tale or whatever.
Show yourself.
But in any case, yeah, I find it bizarre. You know, Devil May Cry was its own thing at the time. And again, he's Dante. He's very flashy by his very nature. So grading you on quote-unquote flashiness, which they interpreted as the variety of moves you use, kind of makes sense.
Hold up, I'm coming with you.
I guess, a little bit. I always thought that's kind of weird. Bayonetta, likewise, same mechanic. But Batman, why? Why grade me on my variety? Again, I have fun with that mechanic. It's cool. But it's kind of interesting how whenever you have like a score attack in a game like a character action game or a game where you have this kind of combat, you're never graded just like on how quote-unquote well you fight. In fact, you are, you know, disincentivized to play effectively In fact, you kind of get the feeling that part of the reason why they have that mechanic, right? The idea of making Batman use more moves is to avoid the player over-relying on the good stuff. It gives them more reason to use the moves that are not that good. Right? They didn't want to have to worry about balancing the game in that respect to make each move have an actual purpose.
Wait to get out of
And that's true in Devil May Cry as well, and other games with that same mechanic, where you are incentivized to use the moves that you would never otherwise use, just because you want to use as many moves as possible. And that's kind of fun, and it lets you see more of the moves in the game that you would never actually normally see. But how about give me more of a reason to use my moves because they're actually good? They're not grading you on how Batman-y you are, they're just trying to force you to do stuff. Yeah, that's exactly my point. Like, I don't really mind it because it's fun in its own way. And I would argue it's puzzle-esque. Because it is so abstracted from the combat itself, right? I guess what I'm saying, it's like a puzzle game. I'm saying that my concerns become so abstracted away from the actual combat. I don't care about my HP anymore. I don't care about my enemy's HP anymore. I don't care about, you know, punching guys or whatever. I'm much more concerned with this totally abstract concern of keeping my combos fresh. It has nothing to do with what you would expect to be concerned about in a game where you're punching guys in the face. That's why I would like if the combat was changed to the whole least actions possible thing. Yes. Yes, I'm inclined to agree, Mech, and I'm not sure I follow you completely on the idea of stamina. But even if they disagree with you on literally how many moves you used, use as few moves as possible. Or that would encourage you to use the right move at the right time to be the most effective at taking guys out. Or again, in my case, you could also argue it could be about speed, right? Take them out quickly.
Get a grip and stop that.
But again, I kind of get the impression that maybe part of the reason why we have these mechanics where you mix things up is because it gives them a reason to use all these shitty moves they added. In CVS1, the game constantly graded you move by move, similar to Devil May Cry's grading system, and you could only fight Goki at the end by having a grade of at least 85, plus a couple of other requirements, and getting that grade required ample strategy at fast-paced decision-making. I don't think anyone would call it a puzzle game. Yeah, but what's the requirements for getting a high score, though? Is it related to keeping your health high and taking your opponent out, you know, effectively? Because I would argue that it does become puzzle-esque if your concern is not those two things, which are fighting game concerns, right? Not getting hit and hitting your opponent and taking them out effectively. My argument is not that strategy makes it a puzzle game. My argument is that the concerns you have are so far removed from the idea of combat. And also, I think that, you know, in the case of a fighting game, those are very secondary concerns, right? No one's, not for to say nobody, but it's very unusual to score attack a fighting game. Where in this game, the grades are very pronounced. More like counter moves, not getting hit, not getting counter hit, landing special moves and supers. Yeah. I think that at a certain level, again, from my perspective, again, with my, you know, the terminology I'm using here, I could argue that could become puzzle game-esque. Depending on, again, the amount of concern you have for that versus the concern of a typical fighting game concerns. But also, I think that in a fighting game, not a lot of people are really worried about that. You know, the idea of fighting Goki at the end. Because I understand that Third Strike that way too, right? A lot of fighting games have a mechanic where you have to get a high score to fight a certain guy. But I think they're not, that's not a main focus of the game at all.
I'm sure there used to be more of you down
What's up, Shiva Jones? Tomorrow's night, dude. Have you been practicing, Shiva Jones? Hopefully you have. Because Wade's pretty tough. Yeah, tomorrow, Mac, Shiva Jones and Wade Local are fighting on Jazzy Fight Night, number 2. I can get grading you on how many actions were taken. Don't know about firmly limiting it, though. Yeah. But that's true. That's, you know, my ideal of grading in general in games. Is that I see grading as a fun way to encourage a player, maybe even strongly encourage them to Too, oh, that's so annoying.
What's going on?
So who's nervous now? How many guys are left? 2 or 3? Just 2, huh? I think that grades... I like when grades are important in games, personally. They should have some pretty good unlockables behind them to make them really exciting to strive for. This is going to be annoying. He turns so quick. I think I might go up those stairs. He's going to go up the stairs. Fuck. The majority of people aren't focused on getting S grades, and that doing that is not the main focus of the game either.
I hate to
I
break it, but you're all alone
don't
in that big, scary
agree with that.
hospital.
Again, I think that you're... I totally... Let me rephrase that. I agree with that completely, Brian. I totally agree with that. The majority of players aren't concerned with that. But I think that we're talking about the in the fighting game, we're talking about a much smaller percentage of players that are concerned with getting these secret encounters in arcade mode. I think much... If we're talking about, like, time spent playing the game, in Devil May Cry, much more time is spent, you know, every year trying to get high scores than there is time spent trying to fight Goki in a Street Fighter game.
Personally, I hate hospitals. I don't envy you.
Because you're right. It's not a majority of players that care about grades. But I do think that the players that play the most Devil May Cry, that's what they care about the most. And I think that's not controversial to say. The players that play Devil May Cry the most are concerned primarily with getting these high scores. And that's not true of a fighting game.
What's going on?
I don't think the time spent or percentage of players that go for it should determine whether or not it would be classified as a puzzle. If the hardest core fans play it that way, in case of Devil May Cry, I think it's fair to call it that. If the hardest core fans of the game play it a certain way, in a certain style, if that's what the community is focused on, then that's the kind of game that it is.
But you're all alone in
But
that
we're being pedantic because, again, genre is totally fluid. And in a game, a video game that has so many different mechanics, you can interpret it a lot of different ways. You could argue that the genre could only be decided by what the developer thought it was going to be.
guys may want to have a look on the walkway.
Fighting game players that care about getting good probably don't care about secret shit scores, but casual players? I don't think the casual players care about getting scores either. Again, they do to an extent, of course, but not that much. If you play something like a puzzle game, then it's fair to call it a puzzle game. Yeah, I think Brian's argument, though, is that even by my own definition of, you know, a puzzle game, that even if I'm playing Devil May Cry a certain kind of way, he's saying that it's not like a puzzle game necessarily.
Man down! Man down!
Is that the one? That's what I need? Yeah, I think broadly Devil May Cry is people don't care about scores.
Big deal.
The people that buy it en masse, and even those that beat it, probably don't care about score. But Devil May Cry fans care about score immensely. Okay, so was that the one? Is that the Chivo? I hope so, it felt like it. Whereas fighting game fans, and again, a very, very small part, care about score. I don't think it's a primary concern in fighting games at all. I think it's a very, very tertiary concern. I'm surprised that they even get put into the game in the first place. These little secondary features, these little mechanics where you have to get to a certain boss by doing a certain amount of things. I'm playing so I can get the secret Goki fight or whatever other secret. You would think that, Dix, but I think it's because you're not a fighting game player. I think some players do. Don't get me wrong. I know some players that do that. But I think that most casual players of fighting game just want to unlock... Well, that's not fair to say. That's really not fair to say. They've had much better analogies, huh? I'm still very satisfied with my analogy. I will argue the day that I die, based on that criteria that I've laid down, that Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, Batman's combat have mechanics that are puzzle-ish. They're comparable to a puzzle game. A fast-paced puzzle game especially. Casual players, as in people that aren't playing fighting game players. Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to get this high score. You might be right, Dix. People that see a fighting game and pick it up in a party game or dick around. Yeah, when I played fighting games before I was a fighting game player, I was always trying to unlock characters and stuff. And, but again, I never played 2D fighting games. So for all I know, among 2D fighting game players, that is something that they find very important. But I would still kind of be surprised if that were the case. In the arcade, I wanted high scores, says Shiva Jones. He's a high score goer for her. It's your own paradigm shift that makes it a puzzle, says Tonebox. Did you find out about the ultimate secret final achievement? There's one left, right? What is it? It's not the one Kitty points out. That one I'm never going to get. It's impossible. And that one you gotta fucking find Bigfoot. Rope-a-dope. Oh, okay. You'll argue to defend points that you made until you die, even if they're shitty opinions. I really don't agree with the shitty opinion, though, Brian. I'm not sure why you're being so accusatory about this. You're arguing that I don't actually believe it, that I would just argue it, when I believe it very strongly. And not only that, but I think that there are those that would agree with me. Maybe not in the chat right now, but I think that my point is relatively well made. You don't agree with it, that's fine. You don't have to agree with it. But I think that, again, when I'm playing Batman and I'm trying to balance, I'm looking at the situation on screen and trying to keep in mind, again, the order I've done things in, and okay, I gotta do this first, then I gotta do that next, okay, then I gotta pause and do that, I gotta mix that up. I haven't done that, I gotta pull that in there. You know, to me, it's most comparable of any genre that I've played to a puzzle game. And again, I'm talking about a fast-paced puzzle game where you're trying to manage we have a screen that's constantly being changed, and you're trying to manage a bunch of little tiny patterns very rapidly. To me, that makes games that have this sort of mechanic where you're trying to keep your moves fresh. Again, Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, this game. A puzzle. A puzzle at a high level of play when you're going for score. Okay. So let's see here. Challenge mode. Again, more of a puzzle than an action game. And I don't think it necessarily means that a game like Final Fantasy Tactics or any other game that involves strategy becomes a puzzle game. Because we're not talking about strategy as it relates to, management of units. We're talking about a strategy that relates to maintaining the flow of a certain pattern. Which to me, reminds me a lot of games like Tetris or things like of that nature. Okay, so I need to do the thing where I drop a guard on somebody, right? Okay, doesn't really matter what stage that's on. What kind of cool stage do I have here to finish this off with? This is, this stage. Sure, why not? The genre of a puzzle game too broadly.
These are my best guys, Bats. They'll find you and kill you.
Yeah, I have a habit of, when I'm talking about genre, I abstract things really far.
Come on, Bats, show yourself. Is this your Batcave?
Well, we're not talking about we're talking about genre qualifiers. Here goes, and of course, yeah, it's my opinion as well. But I am trying to argue that there is some sense to it that another person would be able to understand and appreciate. Right? It's not just totally subjective. I mean, of course it is. But I am arguing that it makes sense. It should make sense to somebody else. And in Brian's case, it sounds like he doesn't agree with it, which is fine. But I think there's still sense to it.
Batman's trying to stop it.
Yeah, I'm applying the term puzzle game very broadly. I totally agree with Brian on that. I'm applying it very broadly. But I think that, again, you can apply any genre term broadly. In fact, I think that a lot of times you should apply them very broadly, especially when you're comparing games to each other. But I totally disagree with your argument that, by applying it that broadly, it should apply to games like any other strategy game. My argument remains that although I'm applying the term broadly, I think I'm applying it fairly. Which if you don't feel that way, that's fine. But again, I don't think that to say that any game, I'm saying I don't think every game has those concerns. I don't think that every game out there that has strategy, quote unquote strategy, has that idea of, again, trying to manage certain things in a certain order. You know, the first concern is the order, the way that these components are like lining up. You know what I mean? When I'm playing Devil May Cry or Batman, that's what I'm thinking in my head. It's like, okay, I did that, and I gotta do that, and I gotta do that, and I gotta dodge that, and I gotta do this. Where do I fit this in there? I gotta fit this in there somewhere, right? There's a move. I gotta find a way to fit in. I gotta fit in right there, okay? Like, that's not how I feel I'm playing tactics.
He must not get to that control room. You understand?
How'd I get into this?
Okay, every game has strategy, but not every game has that, you know, that situation where you're trying to keep things in order. You know what I mean? You're organizing things. That's what makes it puzzle-ish to me. Problem-solving game, new genre. All games are problem-solving games, though.
Show yourself. Is this your back cave?
That's all I mean when I say it's like a puzzle game to me. I just mean that you would, from looking at it, you would think that it's about punching guys in the face. But really, it's about trying to do all these things in a certain order and trying to find spots for them all and trying to, at a very fast pace in this case. I think Brian makes an interesting point as well that, you know, not every quote-unquote puzzle game is done at a fast pace. In fact, you know, games like Tokitori, for instance, I call that a puzzle game.
If you don't stop him from getting to the control
And that's totally not about that.
well,
It's not about doing it at a fast pace.
You to one of Ivy's plants. I need
to take some guys out. No, I don't. Not at all. All I gotta do is string a guy up and then drop him down on somebody. That's really all there is to it. It's gonna be pretty easy to get. Zelda's the world's slowest puzzle game. Yeah, Zelda has puzzles in it for sure. Not all puzzle games, says Katie. Not all puzzle games. And like I mentioned earlier, if we're gonna take this conversation anywhere, I think that I kind of wish that more games that were about beating guys up were more about beating guys up. Can I surprise them by dropping this guy down?
What the? Sure it came from over there.
Oh, fuck. They fucking heard my batarang. The lines are drawn. It's a government experiment on how much abuse the human psyche can take. Tokitori. Dude, I fucking love that game. For genre is what separates us from Beast, and without it, we are no better. I don't think that Brian's argument is that...
What's keeping
No, I guess he was kind of arguing that you have to be kind of more strict on how you apply these genre terms.
So just do it.
Which I'm not sure I can co-sign that.
I'm telling you, if there's one place you'd expect to find a bat, it's down in a stinking...
And I think it's important to have a puzzle game be a certain genre that most people can look at on a face and be like, yeah, it's a puzzle. Oh yeah, all right, let's make our peace here then, Brian. I would never tell somebody that Batman's a fucking puzzle game. All right, I'm just arguing because we're doing a deep dive into the game's mechanics. I'm analyzing the game very closely with friends. I'm trying to argue that it has mechanics that remind me of a puzzle game, and I think it's worth pointing out. Okay, it's worth pointing out to when you're deep diving into the game's mechanics, trying to analyze it, that it has mechanics that I think would be fair to compare to a puzzle game. And if you think it's unfair compared to a puzzle game, then that's fine, that's whatever. But I'm not gonna go out into fucking some forum. I'm not gonna leave a review of the game and saying Batman Arkham Asylum. Like, I'm not gonna go edit the Wikipedia page and be like, Batman Arkham Asylum. It's a action game / puzzle game. That would be ridiculous to me. It's many, many more things long before it's a puzzle game.
Tell what's what.
I'm not trying to confuse anybody that Batman is like Tetris. That Batman, if you love Tetris, you're gonna love Batman. I'm not saying that. I agree that the puzzle genre, when you're trying to sell a game as a puzzle game, it comes with certain expectations that Batman does not satisfy. I'm arguing that at a high level of play, this game has concerns that are very parallel to a puzzle game, much more than you would think.
These guys, they're nothing to me.
But yeah, I'm not gonna fucking go out there and say that again, that Batman is a you know, action adventure / stealth / puzzle game.
Don't freak out. We can handle this.
I'm saying that the line can be blurred, and it'd be fair to blur them. For instance, you know, how about a game like Like, you guys ever play Mark of... What was that game called? Mark of Shadow? Shadow? That 2D ninja game? That game is a lot like Batman. It takes a lot of inspiration from Batman. Ironically, not the combat part of it. And it's much more like a puzzle game. There are those that would call that a puzzle game, you know, in broad daylight. Mark of the Ninja, thank you, Tonebox. Mark of the Ninja. There are those that call that a puzzle game in broad daylight. Similar to how Tokitori is a puzzle game. But that's another example of, you know, genre being very abstract. Genre is abstract. Because, of course, it's a stealth game, first and foremost. But the idea of stealth of the genre is very abstract. On top of that.
Send me underground.
Those people are beasts and not worthy of genre. The combat in these games are definitely like puzzles or riddles to solve, which I appreciate.
Wait up, I'll watch your back.
We should do that, though, says Tonebox, so that we win the argument. When your little friend, where are your little friends now, puzzle scum? I think Brian made a good point earlier as well, that just by its very nature, in terms of its literal meaning, the term puzzle begs, you know, overuse, just like strategy. Brian's point was that if you're talking about puzzles and talking about strategy, of course you're talking about, you know, problem solving, which is a fundamental feature of any video game. So where do you draw the line? I gotta do a takedown of somebody with a gargoyle. This game was very groundbreaking at the time. The combat and movement system was second to none. QB, I'm inclined to agree. What do you guys think about the fact that there are those that say, and I'm not in a position to argue this either way. I've never played Assassin's Creed at length. There are those that say this game is an Assassin's Creed clone, at least in terms of the combat. Who plays Assassin's Creed in the chat? They can tell me if that's true or not. I played Assassin's Creed 1, and I can see the comparison. In fact, I might even be inclined to agree this game's combat takes strong inspiration from Assassin's Creed. But I'm not really in a position to argue that, you know, at length, because I don't really know Assassin's Creed that well. So Tonebox was thinking that earlier, huh? That it seems kind of like Assassin's Creed. Now, what I know of Assassin's Creed, I can tell you that this game's
look in every corner. He's a tricky one.
This game's stealth is nothing like Assassin's Creed. But the combat, maybe even a lot. Here goes, says Assassin's Creed is a lot more brainless in this game, though, huh? I only played the first game. That's me too, Brian. I only played the first game. Can it be a sports game? What's up, good vibe? Welcome aboard. Yeah, Max is more brainless, but I mean, this game's pretty brainless too if you don't want to use any gadgets and not going for the high scores. Now, does Assassin's Creed score you based on... Can I hide here? Out of curiosity. Because they oftentimes can't see through these...
We got all bases covered. We're good.
They oftentimes can't see these little fences. No, he can see me. Okay, good. I'm actually relieved. My point was that they don't see you through some of those graded fences sometimes. I wanted to prove whether or not the actual... Like, if they had a certain amount of transparency to them, right? If it was actually variable. Or if every single fence was totally opaque to their eyes. The answer is that, yes, they can actually be transparent or translucent. It's more varied. So later games, like Assassin's Creed games, up to this can come out, what, 2009, right? When did Assassin's Creed come out? I'll bet you up to that point, there are more gadgets and shit. I just feel like it would be. Has no score at all. Barely has any combat gadgets at all, huh? Rarely punishes you for just pouring it on. Okay. So even if the game's combat was inspired by Assassin's Creed, it sounds like this game definitely put a lot more thought into it. An action-adventure to me has puzzle and exploring as part of the adventure part. I agree, good vibe. I totally agree. That's kind of a controversial statement that I've been known to champion. Because, you know, we were talking before about, you know, a puzzle and strategy, how those are very very broad terms. And likewise, action-adventure is one of those genres that people don't apply a lot of like meaning to.
He's taken out two.
But to me, the term action-adventure implies that it's like an adventure game. That is, say, like a point-and-click adventure game, or a text-based adventure game, which implies puzzle solving and collecting items to open doors. Right? You do that in text-based adventures and in point-and-click games. And an action-adventure, to me, is when you have those elements, but in real time. Not menu driven. It's action and adventure. And so I think that's where the term comes from, insofar as like Zelda, for instance, is the the typical action adventure. Because in that game you literally collect items to advance, and you solve puzzles, and it has action. And to me, if you don't have that element, maybe it's not really an action adventure. Yeah, Brian, that's why I stopped playing Assassin's Creed. That's what I can't stand about that franchise. That's one thing I can't stand about that franchise.
You may want to do a quick
is the fact that there's a one-hit kill button, and that there's no penalty to just abuse it. That blows my mind. Like, it actually, just even talking about it pisses me off. As someone that loves game design, that drives me nuts. It's like the antithesis to what should, to me, be strong game design. It's really linear, says Katie, Assassin's Creed. In 2, they let you actually attack with a hidden blade instead of it being a counter-only weapon. Dick says Unity's pretty standout, and the newest 2 are pretty heavily departures away from the earlier games. They're assassin power fantasies early on, huh? Yeah, I really kind of want to try some of these. Yo, good vibe. That's like every game I play, dude. But yeah, if you look above my head right now, there's an Uncharted long play. That's going to be exactly what you're talking about, good vibe. VGhaters.com. I've been considering calling them like a hate playthrough.
Not even sure he's real.
Sometimes I play games I don't like on stream, and there are those that love that game, and of course it breaks their heart, and I feel bad about it. Because each person should have their own opinion. But as someone that is grateful that I've made a lot of friends through the stream, there are those that really want me to like games that they love. I appreciate that. As someone that loves a lot of games, and who gets kind of disappointed when my friends don't like them as much, I can see why watching a streamer play a game you love and hating on it the whole time would be very fucking annoying, at best. But I find I take a lot of interest in that personally, in being critical, and even being, critical to the point of even being like emotional about it. Thank you for the follow, Batman Lewd 23. Batman? That's sick. Is it the actual Batman, you guys think? I hope so. I think if it were really Batman, he wouldn't use the term Batman in his Twitch name. It'd be something more dramatic, right? If I gotta dangle a guy. So who wants to dangle? Can I dangle somebody right here? Nathan Drake sucks, says Mac, huh? KD also agrees. He's not a huge fan of Uncharted. That's what Batman would want you to think. Maybe you're right, dude. There's layers to this shit. But yeah, there are those that love Assassin's Creed, and more power to them. That's me. Love Assassin's Creed, of course, and Uncharted. I only played Uncharted 1. And I'm going to try to be open-minded to it. As a series. I think the mistake I made here... The mistake I made here was I should have dangled the guy down and then literally left him for the end when people forgot he was up there, basically, and then dropped him at the end. That should be not that bad. Let's just do it that way. But the voice actors are good, you guys. They're so good. Yeah, I don't doubt that. I enjoyed Uncharted 1. It was the only one I played in the series. The cutscenes I thought were okay. I can really appreciate it as a cinematic experience, which I think is the idea, right? And that pisses me off, again, as someone that loves game design. I really hate it when games are sold primarily on being cinematic experiences. That drives me insane. Can I hookshot over there, like a line? Whee! I can, and it was very fun. I think that Uncharted reminds me a lot of, the same developer as The Last of Us, right? They're games that are driven primarily by their cutscenes and their stories. And for one thing, the commonality between The Last of Us and Uncharted is that the story is very rote, they're telling. The story is not especially original or even exciting to me personally. Of course, again, to each their own, sort of subjective. That's true of both. I think that, Uncharted is it's just a Indiana Jones-esque story.
So let me get this right.
It's really sort of a callback
To
that action serial style.
Great.
And to me, that'd be fine if the gameplay was any good. But it's not. It's just really generic. It's not terrible. It's just not a whole lot there. It's just it's just vapid.
So I can blow it off.
I never read a book in my life, Tone Box. I never read a book in my life. And the same way I feel about The Last of Us. And you're right, you're right, KD. That's exactly why it's so successful. Because they're narratively driven instead of being gameplay driven, so that you can play them and succeed at them without having to be a quote-unquote gamer.
Well, I'll personally feed you.
And also the fact that the elements they have that are that are video gaming
Thrive on a diet.
are less deep makes them more approachable. It makes them easier to get your head around, which is great if you are, again, someone who's not a traditional gamer.
Shut up and keep looking. Help me.
Okay, so I'm going to take these guys out, and once a few of them are dead, then cut that guy down. So, Brian only played 90 minutes of Uncharted 1. My impression was, this is like Tomb Raider with an unathletic guy that moves like he has sand in his pants. Yeah, it's interesting you would mention that. Because, yeah, he's not really... It's not a platformer, right? Like, at least in you could argue that Tomb Raider, you actually have to space your jumps. And there's an element of, like, like running and jumping, right? Running and jumping is a major part in Tomb Raider. Whereas in Uncharted, the jumps are automatic. And they always succeed. They're totally automated. So, like, what is the point? What is the point? Old Sandy Pants. Sandy Bag's evil twin. Or read the Foxtrot comics, huh? The Foxtrot. Oh my god. But you're totally right, Katie. The thing about these games that are AAA, and I'm very critical of these games, personally, and the reason why they're so widely beloved is because they don't apply to the same niche that other games do. They apply very broadly to gamers and non-gamers alike. And even those that are literally gamers, people that love games, but that they don't need to be playing the most hardcore game at all times, right? They appreciate a game that they can just play and not have to fucking actually try that hard.
What the hell am I doing? Joker never said anything.
And I'm the same way.
about
That's how I
caves
appreciate
when he
JRPGs,
fucked me
right?
up
Like as a kid. A game you can just play very passively, not to try that hard. But at least in those cases, I felt like they had something exceptional going on about them. And they had exceptionally, cool stories or exceptionally cool blankety, blankety, blah, blah, blah. But now I'm getting sidetracked in my rant, guys. Because now I could really go on JRPGs too the same way. The JRPGs have really cliche stories and, virtually no real substantial gameplay.
They're nothing to me.
I don't see why I shouldn't just hang a guy from all these gargoyles. Come here, big guy. You wanna come this way? You son of a bitch. I can surprise him now, though, if he goes over there.
I'm too old to be stuck down in a stinking cave underground.
This purple perspective is pretty annoying. My gripe with Nathan is that he's part of the era of charming protagonists, huh? He's supposed to be cool, but he's just a douche. Give me a silent protag. That's that criticism I've heard before.
Hold up. I'm coming with you.
I wouldn't say it's unfair, obviously. It's very fair. I just feel that way. And I totally agree, in fact, that he is, supposed to be this charming douche, which is... Okay, he got surprised. Was it because of the Batarang, though? I think it's because of the Batarang. Well, let's just finish the stage now. I don't actually have to... I can just kill them all, right? That's really all there is to it. I don't gotta actually wait. I need to, like, throw this at somebody.
What the?
Okay.
Wait up. I'll watch your back.
But I do also think that anytime... The max point is give him a silent protagonist, right? Don't try to make him charming or whatever.
Check the timesheet. I'm sure there were more of you at the beginning of the day.
Oh, no. This might be suicide.
Oh, God. He just vanished. Oh, God. I lost him.
Wow, they lost me that quick? I respect that. But I think that you can't just write off, trying to create a protagonist that's, fun for the player. Yeah, I think that, of course, silent protagonists have their place, and they're important. But I think anytime you try to make a character charming, you're going to run the risk of them being annoying to somebody. But I think that if I had to break down what Mac is saying, I have to say that his complaint is my complaint, right? Which is that it's cliche. It's cliche. So Mac says they failed. They didn't make him charming. It's like they wanted to. My problem with the game's story was just that it was cliche. Same with The Last of Us. It wasn't, to me, it wasn't a great story. Maybe a classic story, which I think is, again, a good start. It's kind of like the gameplay, right? There's one for the, they're trying to go through the motions. Oh, they both look around the corner together? That's pretty cool. I didn't know they did that.
There's more of us. We can take him.
How can I take them out without having to do any work? There we go. They feel everything on Naughty Dog. They have their fans, and they're very popular.
I don't like it.
You heard Joker.
You there, big guy. He's an ass butt. He sucks. He's taken out now. Hurry, Batman, hurry! This boy is moving quite slow.
Man down, man down.
It's the last guy left. Instead of playing Uncharted, you should play Tomb Raider Legend. They programmed in full gymnastics actions for basically no reason other than for fun. You can do floor exercise tumbling flips and rolls and parallel bar swings. What?
A little disappointed.
What console is that for? PS2?
What are you?
So I played Tomb Raider 1, never beat it. And I played Tomb Raider Shadow of something on PS2, which is notoriously a really terrible one. I thought it was alright, to be honest. I never beat it. I played it for a few hours, I thought it was okay. PS4? What? Oh, PS2 original Xbox, okay. I think Katie's thinking about one of the newer Tomb Raiders. But I think he also kind of played it and said it was pretty cool. I really played it, thought it was pretty cool.
You can do it, buddy. Let me put it this
Okay, hopefully that was the Chibo I needed. I dropped a guy and the guy got surprised. But maybe he didn't drop, like, on him. They're all
Don't
saying
get too cocky, Bats. I was just softening you up.
Yeah, I don't really play a lot of those third-person shooters and stuff. I played Tomb Raider 1 for a while, and what stood out to me the most was the way that she moved. I liked the platforming. I liked running up to a ledge and then leaping and then grabbing onto the ledge. To me, that was so cool. And I find it interesting that you think in a world where the platformer genre was the king for so long, and it's still a genre to this very day, both 2D and 3D platforming, it's weird we haven't seen more games like that, right? Like, people complain about the tank controls, right? But the tank controls, they were there to make the core mechanics more of a consideration. That might be a stretch. It could just be because of the time that came out, of course. That was more of an issue, a sign of the times, right, was the tank controls. But my point is that sometimes when you have like a horror game that has sort of like whack combat, the reason it's whack is so that, you know, fighting monsters becomes more of a consideration, right? Which it suits the themes of the game. And I think that in a game like Tomb Raider, or other games like this, I'm trying to, I wish I could think of other games like this as well. But there've been games that I've played where movement is a consideration, where in other games it's not. Like in this game, it's not a consideration. I just hit a button and I just go that way, right? It's very thoughtless. Where in some games, the movement, you know, is a consideration. And in like Tomb Raider, when you are, in the first Tomb Raider, when you're trying to run to a ledge and then leap, I feel more, like it's more visceral because my body has weight, right? In real life, I have weight. In real life, it'd be difficult for me to line up a jump that would make me leap across a ravine and grab a fucking cliff on the other side, right? So it's sort of like the opposite of Nathan Drake. We talked about how Nathan Drake, he automatically leaps and grabs things. Whereas in a tank controls-based Tomb Raider game, you know, I'll never forget that feeling of, you know, facing the ledge, running up toward it, building momentum, leaping and then grabbing it, right? To me, that was an awesome mechanic. So simple, and again, so elemental to the idea of platforming. You would think that more platformers would have mechanics like that, but really there's not. To me, at least in my experience of playing video games, that's something that's relatively unique to Tomb Raider, was that feeling of run, jump, pray, and praying in midair as you grab the ledge, and grabbing it. Oh my god. Yo, KD, dude, that intro was so sick. I was recording footage of that last night for for the YouTube channel, my secondary off-stream project, recording mod record footage of these events going on. And guys, KD, to unlock the last Magia, I had to grind for hours and hours to get to the main story of the game. The only way I could do it was to skip every single cutscene and auto battle every single battle. So it took me 8 hours anyway of doing it that way. At first I was going to try to record all the main story on my way to the last Magia, but I realized very early on that was not going to be a possibility. It's too much. It's too much content. And so, yeah, I don't know what's happening in the last Magia, Katie, because it takes place after the game ends, and I didn't watch any of the cutscenes in the main game. But I'm going to go back and rewatch them when I have time. But I got a pretty good feel for it. It's fucking Madoka Magic. I got a feel for what's going on. There are some elements that I'm like, what the fuck? Where'd she come from? Where's so-and-so? But I'm pumped, Katie. It's a pretty cool event so far. Tomb Raider Legend was like taking the original Tomb Raider games and making it feel good and look good. Yeah, I think it would be interesting to play. So PS2, you said, an original Xbox. I don't think I own it. Okay, so let's go check my Chivos and play Majora's Mask. If I got the Chivo I want. If I didn't, we got to do one more map. They last so long, though. Dude, this one's only 3 days, Katie. I wish they lasted longer. As someone that wants to grind the events and wants to have time to record them for posterity, I wish they lasted longer. Apparently in Japan they did last longer, Katie. But because the game came out in the US like a year later, compared to Japan, they have been compressing them down to try to get through more of them to catch up. So events that lasted like 2 weeks in Japan only last a week in the US. And the last Magia is only 3 days, Katie. How's that too long? I have 3 days to record all this footage for this game. For this event, I mean. So where's the Chivos looking here? That's it. We got them all, looks like. Let me change our resolution so we can read this shit. Yeah, for me, a week is not long enough time for these events. The first event I ever did was like 2 weeks long. A full-time Magia streamer. Yeah, I was saying earlier before you showed up, Katie, that I would like to stream the game to combine my stream time and my Magia record documentation time. My secondary project is I had this idea for like a documentary for Magia record. But the thing is I really want to record my Magia with no commentary-free Magia record recordings. So it really wouldn't work for this stream. We got them all, dude. 47 out of 47. Wow. I'm happy with that. So let's delete the game now. Well, hang on. Before we do that, let's go give the game a send-off. Because we had a lot of fun with it. I'm feeling kind of sentimental. Let's play, I don't know, like one more punching mission. Then on Monday, we'll play Arkham City. I'm going to delete the game from my hard drive. I don't have no more use for it. Okay, guys, can we get a connect here and a Puella combo? Because that would be sick. You know, honestly, dude, you're making fun, but I love commentating that game. But, yeah, I really feel like for my idea of making like a documentary, like a posterity recordings of the game for those that didn't experience it the first time, my idea is like to record all the temporary content so that new players can go back and watch footage of it. That they can't play it anymore, right? It's kind of frustrating for me. They can't play it anymore. But part of that means like not, polluting it with my commentary. Just have it be just the gameplay, just the cutscenes, just the fights, so you can get a feel for what it was like in its time. So I've been recording it with no face cam, no mic or nothing, no overlay, no goals, nothing like that. Just the gameplay footage. But yeah, I wouldn't mind playing it and commentating it, but it'd have to be something separate, which I really don't have time for. I love those streams where we strategize the battles together. Huh? I'm glad you aren't doing it anymore because that game Insomnia was bad for my health. Yeah, we stayed up mad late for those, dude. We stayed up mad late for those. But yeah, as a unrelated note, because Katie mentioned it, like a savage. This is unrelated to anything we've talked about tonight. But I love Magia Record. I think it's an awesome game. And I also love the new event. I think that the last Magia that really tugged my heartstrings. It might not for Katie, he might laugh at that, considering that he doesn't really give a fuck about the plot of Madoka Magica, but pretty good directing, I feel like. At the very least, it was very epic directing. Like, even though I didn't know the whole story, because I skipped all the cutscenes in the main game, I felt the weight of the cutscenes so far in the last Magia. I'm like, whoa, this is definitely, you know, some climactic shit. Alright, let's go to the challenge mode, and let's play something like the last, you know, was it Rumble in the Jungle Extreme? Yeah, let's do this one, and then we're going to call it a night. We're going to move on to some Majora's Mask next, and we're going to come back next week with Arkham City, our first sitting with that.
Who will win?
As a stream, that is.
Killers! The curse of the murderers!
Oh no, what the fuck? How'd that combo drop? What? I'm salty.
Don't let him hit you.
Oh, what the fuck? Ow. Take him out.
You hit like a girl.
That's sexist, bro.
And all you have, bad.
Get him. Down. What's up, D-Scott? We're moving on to some Majora's Mask, D-Scott. We just finished the game, dude. We beat the game, we got all the Riddler trophies and stuff, we did all the challenge maps, and now we have every achievement on Steam.
Good one.
Now we're doing one last fight here for fun. We're gonna play some Majora's Mask tonight. It's the first time in fucking forever. Oh god. Oh, you have to attack me? It's bullshit. Uh-oh. Oh, I got him though. Cut it out, you big goofball. Oh, couldn't get away in time, but I got him though.
You want some of this?
Was good, dude. Deserves a big hell yeah, dude. Dude, I'm pumped to play Arkham City and see how they compare. Like, I'm really surprised. In my mind, having had a year or two between the games originally, I really felt like Arkham City was just an open world Arkham Asylum. But now that I play this game a little bit, I realized that Arkham City changes a lot of things that I didn't really appreciate at the time. So I'm kind of excited to go to that and see how they compare.
Crap out of you.
Can I interrupt him with a battering? No. Only the charge. Get him. Yeah, we got every single achievement in this game. Pretty happy with that. It's a great game. It holds up very well, to say the very least. I would still say that if you're new to Batman, the Arkham series, play this one first. Play it first. It's a great introduction to the series. And it does work as a tutorial pretty well as well, because it is a little bit simpler than later games.
Oh, what do I get? Do your worst!
Now see, listen, later games, Arkham City and beyond, you would auto-target that guy behind him. Basically, I have to, when I do like my takedowns, I have to lean my stick to where I want him to go, and then press the takedown button. And the problem is that they're very dense fights, right? Like, there are many guys on that side of me. So how does it know who I want to attack? Well, it doesn't. And later games, solve that problem by using priority. Opponents that have weapons get prioritized over those that don't, which I think is, sensible. In this game, not so much. It seems to kind of go, not randomly, of course, but probably based literally on exactly where you're facing. He's got a gun?
This This'll hurt.
Oh, come on. He didn't fucking get grabbed. He's already practically always standing up.
Come on, boys. He's just one
Okay,
man.
so we have, what, 2 more rounds
One man
left, right?
dressed like a lunatic and on.
That was the last round.
Go get him!
Oh, I really hope I could get on top of him before he would, There we go. So I want to focus on the other Titan. So in later games, they remove these Titans. I think it's the only game that has these guys in it, which is weird to me. Oh, he already was taken down. This is bad. Guy's packing heat. Oh, what the fuck was that? No, why would he fucking target that guy? What? Is that a glitch? Hit him! There we go. That boy was straight whiffing. Okay, well, that's probably for the best. So I need to go focus on this guy. Fuck him up. I'm not gonna jump off this guy manually. No, I don't think I can. Climb up this guy. Guardian J-Bomb's mom on stream. Get off, Jay's not even around, Dix. Can J-Bomb live? I was hoping that guy would just jump out.
Come on.
Flash kicks. Whee! Nice slow-mo. He's a new default. Thanks for the host, Bellarex. Nice to be met. This game rocks, but now it's time to delete it. It's been real. It's been fun.
Oh, you're a Rudy. We both know you eat bugs like that for breakfast.
All right, guys. Let's do a ceremonial deletion.
Surprises waiting.
Sliding a man's mom who's not even around. That is cold, dude. That's what I'm thinking. Dick's like hoping he checks the VODs. Like, wow, Dix really hates me. Okay, so I gotta go to this. It's kind of confusing. Then go to exit the desktop. There you go. All right, guys. The ceremonial game deletion. What more can we do in that game? Not a whole lot. Not a heck of a whole lot. Guys, as always, thanks for hanging out. It's been a fucking pleasure. If you guys enjoy the channel, want to keep it online, check out patreon.com/Vencabot or subscribe here on Twitch. But your dollar goes further on Patreon. You can save money, help the channel out even more that way. Twitch subs, you get an emoji, ad-free viewing. But on Patreon, you can save a lot of money and help the channel out a lot. So let's go here. Game of the Year, Arkham Asylum. Manage, uninstall. Rest in peace, guys. Can I get a couple F's in the chat? I'm going to put an F in the chat. It was a great game. But we did it all, dude. We did it all. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Hubie. I have no space, Dix. My hard drive has got no space on it. I have like less than like 5 gigs right now after installing Arkham City and FF14. It's got to go. Thank you, D. Scott. Sounds like the crop in Farm Simulator must have underperformed last weekend. Yeah. Yeah, now Dix is all salty. My hard drive is, I think, 256 gigs. It's SSD. And you guys know me, I'm mad broke. Cheap SSD. Where is it? This PC. Yeah, it's 232 gigs, total. Thank you, Remy. Thank you, Katie. I might, Dix, I might get well, I don't think I want a HDD. I want to have these fast loading times. But I might buy another SSD here. They're not quite cheap these days. All right, guys, I'll be right back with some Majora's Mask and more Batman next Monday and throughout next week. We're going to be playing Arkham City next. After that, Uncharted probably. And maybe sometime after that, Arkham Origins and Night if there's demand for it. But I think that Batman's kind of game, I don't want to play them all in sequence. We'll come back and play more Arkham after City later on. let's see here. I'm going to go to History and Zorld. No, I'm not going to do Majora's Mask. There we go. Be right back, guys, with some sweet, sweet Majoras. So 250 gigs of Madoka Magica hentai and 6 gigs left for games, huh? That's not a space for game. What? How come no game? How come game crash? I would have to cut down my hentai down to like 150 gigs to have any room for any games. So what's my driver? Vulcan. Okay, we're playing. This must be just a simple bug.
Plastic. It's not a very delicate instrument. It's a very coarse instrument.
There we go. For some reason it crashed. No big deal. Welcome back, Diane. Just time for some Majora's Mask, dude. Wait, what? How come everything's crashing? That's bizarre. I'm gonna restart my PC. We're done with Batman, Diane. We finished everything.
Let's fucking go, dude. Look at they're playing Materia Magica on that thing. Yeah, really fast Materia Magica, dude.
Metroid crashing.
Doing hella commands. That's a hell of a fight going on.
Totally donezo. We did fucking everything, man. Beat the game on the hardest mode. Did all the missions. Got all the, you know, the little batarangs for all the missions. Did all the Riddler trophies and stuff. And now we have all the Steam Chivos. So I can finally delete it, and we did. Before I actually transition over here to Majora's Mask, guys, I want to thank those that help out financially speaking on the stream. Ironically, we are at a low point for patronage right now.
I missed.
It always goes that way. We were just at a period of prosperity like a month ago. We were like, wow, our channel is doing really well on Patreon and on Twitch.
I like it. Save the meter.
Now it's like, ooh, I hope that it doesn't get any lower than this because it's going to cause some problems. But I trust that it's going to be okay. And what's important is that a lot of people believe in this channel in a very big way. Not just through Patreon and Twitch subs, but just by being here and hanging out. Supporting the channel on, you know, Twitter, retweeting stuff, sharing stuff. And that sustains me. It's been pretty rough lately in terms of my off-stream, like, time management has been extra hard lately. I'm in a pretty good mood today. I feel like I'm kind of coming out of that. We're finally kind of coming to a clearing here and get back to, you know, more regular stream times, not as much, you know, miss a day here, miss a day there. It's been pretty rough lately. But thanks to folks like these, I can actually, you know, do this, if not, you know, comfortably financially, at the very least, comfortable that we're doing something really cool here and that's worth doing. Thank you to our Black Knight friends on Patreon, John Hernandez and Salty Face. Thank you to the Fearless Halves on Patreon, Audrey Apples, Dick Sucker, Great Gamer UK, Max, Michael Hinkle, Mutant XP, and Sin Theory. Thank you to the Shady Winners on Patreon, it's $3 a month and above. Ashley Mazera, Brandon Williams, Foul Miller, GK Lai, Juna Nan, Coolahan, Kyle Glass, Mumblues, Ricardo Garcia, Rufio Jones, Souptastic, Tony Bosher, and Toxic Vamp. Thank you to the young guys, Benjamin J. Harkins, D. Scott, Dapper Dons, Edward Kenneth Perez, Herb Birkin, Andre Cruz, Kaiju, and Kenfinite. Thank you to our Twitch subs as well. Like I said, Twitch takes half of every sub. It's kind of a drag. It means that, you know, your $3 on Patreon goes further than $5 on Twitch, at least for the channel, because Twitch takes half of every single sub. But there's the Amazon Prime free sub, which is free if you have Amazon Prime. It's not really free, but if you have Amazon Prime, it's free. And you can use that once a month on any channel you want. It's super helpful for every streamer out there. A lot of streamers like me, most of their subs are Amazon Prime subs, and I appreciate that. And those that help out through the paid subs on Twitch, that's really helpful, and I'm sure Twitch appreciates it as well. But I kind of sometimes feel like, you know, these same people might be better served through Patreon, where they might be more likely to subscribe for longer if they were paying less per month. You know what I mean? The people that subscribe here on Twitch for like $5,
this guy here.
I can't help but feel like, you know, as they kind of unsub the following month, like maybe they wouldn't have unsubbed if they'd been on Patreon instead, where they're paying less every month. Thanks to our Twitch subs on the Shady Winner tier, Akai47, Algae3S, Ash, Lethal, Stuffy Muffin, Bam Bam, Beastie Boy Jr., Blue Abs, Bones, Brother Near FGC, Caviez, Chumpeg, Chulak, Crimson Wolf, 777, Decoy Mayonnaise, Dick Sucker, Doc, 3292, Dr. Doom, Dumos, I4, Nick 8, First Opus FBA Brian, at FBA 80, Gaming Zone 80, Last Jaw, 1984, Grimy, Herbert, Here Goes Nothing 9, IDC 0, Insilo, It's Q, J Bomb, 1901, Joe Cola, Kaiju is Dead, Kyosuke, KG the Legend, Kashik, Cozy Pro, El Grinta, Lovely Kittens, Moistovakin, Mutant Experience, Namrite Ford, Nigris Jones, Nice Templar, Octopus Prim, Optimus Style, Original Hack, Quinifer, Red Eye Jaja, Sin Theory, SSBM Bot, Task Force Faust, Technically Will, The Tone Box, 3 Venge, Timeless GFX, Toxic Vamp, V Roski, Yankee Nation 55, Yoga Brain 3S, and Zanzu. Thank you to our subs here on Twitch as well at the Fearless Havel tier. That's Big Nasty, 3620, Eve Off the Chill, and N Cruise. Yes, Diane, soon we move to Arkham City. Tune in next week, says D. Scott. Same bat time, same bat channel. Batastic indeed. That's how they beat up Mixer, huh? Yeah, by charging more for these subs. Okay, so now let's get the game running and make sure that it fucking works.